Get off my fucking TV and save me the misery. And all you fucking goons, just grab a cold beer. The man of the hour is finally here. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off The Script. JD from New York, 206. It's time for Off The Script.
What is going on, guys? JD from New York here on a Sunday night and not at 11 a.m. like I usually do. Is the number one fucking podcast in your subscription box right here on YouTube.com. This is Off The Script, man. Thank you guys so much. I know you guys are fucking thirsty for Off The Script. But listen, all good has come out of this. All good has come out of this, man. I have a story that nobody else is going to deliver to you because, number one, Off The Script is the number one fucking podcast, like I always say, in your subscription boxes. And I got the best fans on the entire fucking internet, man, when it comes to WWE. And one in particular, which we'll mention in a little bit, reached out to me merely 15 minutes ago before I started reporting this, or recording this, I should say. And we have a fucking groundbreaking news story about Brock Lesnar and his win over Mark Hunt at UFC 200. What is going to come out of this? What does this mean? We're going to find out, man. Unbelievable fucking news story. You're not going to want to miss this one. Okay? As the title says, yes, click on me. Listen to what I have to say. So thank you guys so much, man. Couldn't upload early like I wanted at 11 o'clock because I was still in New Jersey. I was actually driving back to New York for my weekend in Atlantic City. I watched UFC 200. I drove back at 12. I didn't get back till 3. I relaxed a little bit. I finished the iTunes podcast, which is going up almost identically when this one goes up, man. So as you guys are seeing this in your sub boxes over on iTunes, PodBean, Stitcher Radio, and AudioBoom, you got another completely 2 hours of Off The Script. So make sure you guys go listen to that. I talk about UFC 200. I give you a small review. I give you my my thoughts and opinions on that and what I did throughout the entire weekend as we got ready for UFC 200. So it's a pretty cool listen, man. If you guys want to go do that, like I said, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, AudioBoom, Podbean, and Google Play. Can't forget Google Play, man. We are live on Google Play now, so make sure you guys go check that out. As soon as this one is over, you guys can go listen to that and enjoy your evenings. All right? As always, Twitter, at JD from NY206, and on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to this channel, I don't know what the fuck you are waiting for, man. Number one source for WWE right here on YouTube.com. Pro Wrestling Tees and Barbershop Window. We're an official partner now with Barbershop Window. All you got to do is go down to the description and go check out my online shop, which is live via Barbershop Window. Or if you just want to go to the website itself, click on Wrestling Shirts, and you'll see Off The Script there as an official partner for that very website, man. Go get your Roman Reigns t-shirt, Get Off My TV, or this one right here, Get Off My TV version 2. Or if you want the original Big Show Get Off My TV version 1, all that is available, plus the Goon City t-shirt. And you guys can represent this podcast, man, in style for the remainder of the summer. Now, the Roman Reigns t-shirt is the number one seller on, or I hope it is. It's up there as the number one shirt and bestseller, so I'm assuming it's number one. And then, I mean, we're beating out a lot of other shirts, so the Roman Reigns shirt is fucking unbelievable. Go get that one, man. Everybody seems to love that one. New shirts will be introduced throughout the summer, so that's barbershopwindow.com. And my friends over at Wrestle Crate, which I did not receive this month, I don't know why, but they are still a great, great fucking product. WrestleCrate.com, on Twitter at WrestleCrates, and use the coupon code JDSENTME for an instant 10% off your first purchase. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much. Let's get right on into the news and this breaking fucking story comes to you from one of my subscribers, Brett R527 on Twitter. Now, he got this article from Richard Gray from WrestlingNewsWorld.com. If you guys want to go out there, it is a monthly paid subscription newsletter. Brett is subscribed to WrestlingNewsWorld.com, and he came to me with this huge story, which you can only pay for via this website, okay? I don't ask him to go out and pay for it. He does it on his own because he wants to be in the loop for wrestling news before anybody else. And a lot of stuff that Richard Gray talks about, you know, it's not bullshit. It really is not bullshit. It is quite possible a lot of this stuff could happen. I know he has sources within the wrestling industry, and Brett comes to me and he gives me stories like this, which some of them I have not talked about because, you know, I already have news and notes on everything. But this one in particular, literally, he came to me about 20 minutes ago, 15, 20 minutes ago, and there's no other story that's going to be a headline grabber than this one, especially following Brock Lesnar's UFC fight and his win over Mark Hunt last night. But listen to this. Vince McMahon was ecstatic about Brock Lesnar's fight against Mark Hunt and proud that he got the win. I was as well, and it was a great fight. Brock Lesnar looked fucking fantastic, and hopefully, like I said, I even said this, if Lesnar won this match, which he did, going into this, everybody put him down. If Lesnar went into this winning this match, I know for a fact, just based on what I see and what I hear in the media, Lesnar will be back for another match in the UFC. But let me get on with this story. So, his fight against Mark Hunt, he was proud that he got the win over Mark Hunt, Vince McMahon was. Brock initiated his return by informing Dana White that he would like to fight again, but Dana made it clear that Brock had to go through Vince due to his WWE contract. So Brock Lesnar, after winning, came to Dana White and said that he would obviously be interested in another fight. You know? Brock looked good. I think he looks good enough to go another fight. Maybe even go for the UFC championship. But Dana White says you got to go through Vince McMahon because you are contractually, set with WWE. Okay, your contract is there for 2017. And you have to tie up loose ends there with Vince and your contract over there. Vince gave it the okay because he felt it was a way to keep Brock happy. He'd be able to help control the opponent, keep an eye or keep an open relationship with UFC for talent exchange, and help promote SummerSlam. So all in all, Vince McMahon came away with a steal here at UFC 200. Not only does he get the talent exchange, potentially, SummerSlam was promoted with Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar, and your biggest superstar, arguably your biggest superstar in WWE, just went into another promotion, UFC, and won. Dominating Mark Hunt. So Vince McMahon's looking pretty fucking good at the end of all this. WWE liked Hunt as an opponent based on age, but Richard Gray states that Shane McMahon played a part in researching him. So Shane McMahon went out and did research for Brock's opponent for UFC 200. Shane felt that Brock had a large reach advantage, which would stop Hunt from getting inside and attacking Brock. Shane also felt that while Hunt used to be one of the toughest guys to take down, that Brock would be able to take him down at will due to an age deterioration of Hunt's defensive skills. Brock began training shortly after WrestleMania 32, as we previously reported. He received the largest purse in UFC history of $2.5 million. He also got a share of the pay-per-view revenue and was paid an undisclosed amount of money from WWE. Vince wants to get Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw this week in Detroit to capitalize on the hype from UFC 200, which obviously makes complete sense business-wise. It was not in Brock's original dates to appear on the show, and WWE couldn't advertise him in case he lost. But the last Richard Gray heard, Vince was working very hard to make this happen and have Brock Lesnar show up on Monday Night Raw. Lesnar's match against Randy Orton at SummerSlam is going to create a difficult situation to book, as Brock simply cannot lose, and Orton is coming back only to lose. Now, Brock's drug test samples were tested by the United States Anti-Doping Agency as far back as April. He tested a total of 8 times, including 5 times in an 8-day period. As for Brock's future in UFC, if Alistair Overeem beats Stipe Miocic for the UFC Heavyweight Championship at UFC 203, then WWE would indeed let Brock fight Overeem for the title. WWE will be allowed to show footage of Lesnar's UFC 200 fight as well at this week's episode, or on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Holy shit. So, Lesnar, after beating Mark Hunt in decisive fashion, I knew if he beat Hunt, he was going to go back and potentially fight another opponent, and he would get that hunger again, and he would eventually try and go for the UFC Championship, because that's what Brock Lesnar wants to do. You know, once he tastes the victory, and once he gets that beautiful taste of victory in his mouth, especially with making $2.5 million, I mean, if he's going to be making this type of money for one fucking match, that's half of his fucking WWE contract for the year. He wrestled one fucking night at UFC 200, made $2.5 million on top of pay-per-view revenue, which is going to eclipse 1.5 million buys, easy. Going to be the most watched UFC event in history. Plus, he was paid an undisclosed amount from WWE. This guy made over fucking, at least close to $4 million. So this guy is raking in the money for one fucking match. And you mean to tell me he's not going to go back and do it again? Any idiot would go back and do that again. No matter who you are. So Lesnar is sitting on top of the world right now. Everybody's talking about him. He's the biggest name in fucking sports right now. Lesnar cannot be topped. And now with Vince McMahon being overly happy about this, obviously you know Vince McMahon wants to keep Lesnar on his payroll after his WWE contract is up. You're going to do anything to make this guy happy. Vince McMahon's going to pay him to be in Detroit on Monday because he wants to generate hype and build off the hype for SummerSlam and generate, or build off hype, I should say, for UFC 200 and generate hype for SummerSlam. So you know Vince McMahon is going to try and get Lesnar on Monday Night Raw. No question. No question. He's going to do whatever it takes. But the fact that Vince McMahon was so overly happy about this, that if Miocic beats Overeem, or loses to Overeem, I should say, for the UFC Heavyweight Championship, then WWE would let Brock Lesnar fight for the UFC title. That is fucking massive. Not only do we get a rematch in which Brock, certainly I know wants, after the fucking match that he had last time with Overeem, because you could see in that match, and I watched it before UFC 200 went live on pay-per-view. Me and my buddy Sean were watching all the old Lesnar fights. We watched him against Carwin and Mir, and then the Overeem match, because I wanted to see what physically happened to Lesnar, being that he was being diagnosed with diverticulitis. You could see when Overeem went for the gut that Lesnar was wincing in pain. He pretty much forced himself to get in that octagon, and there's no way he was actually going to come out on top and win that match. He was in pain. You could tell he was fucking in pain. Just by the way he bounced back on that cage, and right before the initial decision was final. The fucking face that Lesnar made. The grimace. The fucking... You could feel his pain in that match. The fact that he looks the best he's ever looked, especially after beating Mark Hunt in decisive fashion, all the skeptics out there, all he did was sit on top of him. Lesnar's not impressive. Lesnar sucks. Blah, blah, blah. Go back and do your fake fighting. Give me a fucking break. Lesnar looked good to all the UFC fucking elitists out there. He looked fantastic. Okay? Everybody going into this match, Mark Hunt's going to knock him out. Mark Hunt's going to do this. Mark Hunt's going to do that. He's got powerful fists. Give me a break. Obviously, we were all concerned about Brock Lesnar getting back in there, but I think he shut a lot of people up, and I think that's why a lot of people wanted him to win. Because he shut a lot of people up. And now that he beat Mark Hunt in decisive fashion, and we're already talking about Vince McMahon being ecstatic that his big guy, his number one guy, the one guy that makes the most money on WWE's payroll, just went into UFC and had a decisive match on the biggest pay-per-view they ever put on, right? And now he's ecstatic and he's thinking about letting Lesnar, if Overeem wins against Miocic and wins the UFC Heavyweight Championship, that McMahon's going to allow him to do that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a working relationship between WWE and UFC, and if Brock Lesnar wins the UFC title, how he... this match, obviously, I don't know when this is, UFC 203. What is that, September, October? You know, I don't know the exact date for that. I think that's the same card that CM Punk is fighting on, if I'm not mistaken. But can you imagine that? And Brock Lesnar, towards the end of the year or early 2017, has another match with Alistair Overeem and wins the fucking UFC title, and wins the title and takes it into WrestleMania? Can you imagine how fucking monumental that would be? To have Brock Lesnar walk into WrestleMania 33 against whoever he fights, the UFC fucking champion. Not only does that enhance the WWE product, that their guy is the #1 man in UFC. He's fake fighting. Yeah, he's in the fake sport, but he's your UFC champion. Can you imagine that? That would be, I think Vince McMahon would be so fucking, I can't even imagine how he would feel. He would be untouchable. You couldn't fucking make Vince McMahon... I don't think Vince McMahon in any way, shape, or form could be unhappy about anything else if that fucking happened. There's no way he would be unhappy. No way. He would be on top of the world, not a fucking care in the world. That his man went into UFC, beat the fucking champion, is now UFC champion, goes into WrestleMania with the fucking title. Unbelievable. And the report from Richard Gray in Wrestling News World, it could certainly happen. If Miocic loses to Alistair Overeem, Vince McMahon, like that, would allow Lesnar. If Dana White gives him the title match, I don't know if Lesnar, or I don't know if it's going to go over well if Lesnar is automatically put in a title match. I think Lesnar, honestly, I think the right thing for Lesnar is to either go against Cain Velasquez or Junior Dos Santos, because I know Junior Dos Santos came out and said, hey, Lesnar, can you see me now? Issuing somewhat of a trash talk tweet to Brock Lesnar. Maybe Dana White lines up that match first, and that would catapult Brock Lesnar into #1 contention. Because I don't think beating Mark Hunt is going to get him there. I mean, Mark Hunt, I think, was number 6 or number 7 ranked in the world in the heavyweight division. I mean, that's a great win for Brock Lesnar, but I think he needs at least one more match to be in that discussion. Because I know a lot of elitists, oh, look at this guy, comes back and automatically gets a fucking championship match. Listen, Brock Lesnar is going to sell tickets. A lot of people watched UFC and UFC 200 to watch Brock Lesnar. I was one of those people. The only reason why I watched this pay-per-view was for Brock Lesnar. Yeah, I enjoyed everything else, but the reason why I watched was for Lesnar. And a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, ended up doing the same fucking thing. But this is unbelievable fucking news. Lesnar possibly challenging for the UFC championship. Vince McMahon would allow it if Overeem wins the title at UFC 203. So it looks like I'll be watching UFC 203 to see what happens. Maybe Lesnar's going to be there. I have no fucking idea. But this is unbelievable. We now have a physical working relationship over Brock Lesnar between WWE and UFC, man. This is only a good thing. This is no way, shape, or form a bad thing for either party. Vince McMahon, now look at how much promotion he got. 1.5 million buys, no question, promoting SummerSlam and Lesnar's match against Randy Orton in New York City. Former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar goes into UFC and beats Mark Hunt in decisive fashion. Dana White gets the usage of Brock Lesnar, right? Brock Lesnar makes all this money. Dana White, Vince McMahon, and Brock Lesnar, man, all fucking happy with this relationship. It can only get better from here on out. Unbelievable fucking news. Overeem wins the title. We may be looking at Brock Lesnar versus Overeem for the United States Championship, for the UFC World Heavyweight Championship, man. That is unbelievable. Let me know what you guys think about that one down below. Speaking of Lesnar, listen to this fucking story. WWE planning Big Cass versus Brock Lesnar in the near future. We go from unbelievable fucking news to some of the dumbest shit I think I've ever heard in my entire life. As you are aware, WWE is very high on Big Cass since his debut on the main roster. If the following rumor is true, we had no idea how much WWE officials value him as a potential major player in WWE. At Battleground, Big Cass teams with Enzo and John Cena to go against the club. This will have him rubbing elbows with a few of the top stars in WWE, which is great exposure for him considering what WWE has planned for him in the future. Battleground will serve as the first taste of big time for Big Cass, but Dave Meltzer is claiming that there is a massive feast being planned for him in the future by WWE officials. According to Meltzer, during a recent appearance on MLW Radio, WWE is planning Big Cass to challenge Brock Lesnar. Eventually. Not anytime soon, but eventually. And it's entirely possible he could be one of the few to get a victory over him. I don't think that's happening anytime soon with Brock Lesnar in the UFC now. So, this is a complete fucking bullshit story. How anybody could even concoct something like this is fucking ridiculous. And none other than Dave Meltzer, of all people. Dave Meltzer reporting that it's going to be Big Cass versus Brock. What did he pick? Seriously. Did he fucking use a magic 8-ball and Big Cass's name came out in the little triangle that's fucking floating in the water here? Or did he pick out a fucking name out of a hat? Or did he throw a dart on the fucking, on the wall of his home? And he had pictures lined up of several WWE superstars and it happened to land on Big Cass. What kind of news reporting is that, man? What kind of match is that? I don't get it. That is the most asinine rumor I heard all year. Why would you break up Enzo and Cass? Why? Why? I stated this on my podcast that's going up in conjunction with this fucking very show, this episode of Off the Script. I mean, Enzo and Cass haven't even had a cup of coffee in the tag team division yet. You're talking about breaking them up? Why? They might be the most popular team in the industry, never mind the WWE. And they're talking about breaking up the New Day and moving Big E on to fucking bigger and better things as a singles guy. What is that going to do to Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston? Delegated to mid-card trash all over again, right? You're going to break them up, and Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston go nowhere. But Big E gets all the fucking fame and fortune and the big, massive push as a single star, right? Xavier Woods with that 70s fucking porn star mustache and him dancing with the Funkadactyls. That was going to get him released in no time with WWE. Kofi Kingston, Jamaica man, right? The fucking fake Jamaican comes out with the green fucking pants and the shimmy and the fucking whatever the fuck he does in the ring, right? Yeah, he was going real high in WWE in the mid card. How many times Intercontinental Champion is he? 17? Does he hold the all-time record? He went nowhere. And that's exactly where they would go back to. Nowhere. Floating around, doing nothing as lost souls in WWE's unescapable mid-card. But WWE wants to break them up, right? I don't even think the New Day thing has run its course. I think this has much more life in it. And if you look at the tag team division, and I'm speaking about this story still, Big Cass. You're going to break Big Cass up from Enzo to go against Brock Lesnar, right? Yeah, because Brock Lesnar is so fucking unimportant that they're going to make him lose to Big Cass. Give me a fucking... Not if he wins the UFC fucking title. I'll tell you that. Nobody's beating Brock Lesnar. Ever. Nobody. But you look at the tag team division with Enzo and Cass and the New Day, right? After that, they don't have much. They don't have much as far as tag teams go. You got the number 1 team and the number 2 team. Not only that, but they're number 1 and number 2 in merchandise. No question. So, yeah, you want to break them up. Instead of building around these teams for the tag team division, WWE wants to break them up in the midst of a draft. I don't know why. Completely idiotic move. I hope to God someone in WWE is whispering in Vince McMahon's ear, do not break up these 2 teams. Otherwise, we are going to be in for a long 2016. And this draft, if it does happen, automatically will be deemed a failure. I don't want any teams broken up via a fucking draft. Fuck that. You put them on both brands. You got the tag team champions revolving around both shows. Because if you split the teams up, that means we're going to get recycled fucking feuds over and over and over again all year round. Instead of having all teams in the division float between Raw and SmackDown so each brand gets a taste of tag team action. That's what needs to be done. And that's what needs to be done with the women as well. You got one champion floating around both shows. Women here, women there on both shows. The only thing that's going to be an exclusive is the U.S. title and the WWE, the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title on top of the WWE title and the new World Heavyweight Championship. Those are the only things that are going to be exclusive. And I can go on and on and on about why this is a terrible move. And I hope to God WWE does not give us split fucking teams. New Day still has a lot of life. Big Cass and Enzo haven't even had a fucking cup of coffee. They're not even in line for a cup of coffee yet. Never mind fucking sitting down to have a cup of coffee. Big Cass is green. Yeah, he's great. He's great, but he's being carried by Enzo right now. A lot of people associate that team with Enzo more so than they do Cass, and that's a fact. That's a fact. Big Cass is great. He does, he's got the big man moves down. He makes the hot tag to Enzo, right? I mean, it's good. But having him as a singles guy, talking about that already, no fucking way, man. This is a multi-time tag team champion right here. These guys need to have several runs with the tag team titles. I don't know who they're going to take the titles from, because apparently WWE is setting up the Wyatt family and the compound for the New Day. Guarantee you they're going to cockblock TNA and what they did with the final deletion, and they're going to make it their own, right? They're going to make their own final deletion. Of course, WWE's got to be that fucking... I said this on the podcast. Imagine going to a party, right? And you see a girl that you're fucking hugely attracted to, and then you got some fucking goon. He walks over to you, right? And he fucking weasels his way into the conversation. Oh, you look so pretty. Cock blocking, right? Trying to get in there so that you get no action at the end of the night. That's the WWE. The fans enjoyed it. TNA did it. They produced. They gave us entertaining television. WWE has to come in there and sour the whole moment. Oh, TNA did better. TNA did something great. They did something better than we did. We got to show them. We got to make them feel unimportant. So, TNA is not competition, right? TNA is not competition. Right, Vince McMahon. If you're biting ideas from TNA, they certainly are competition. Just like Stephanie McMahon says, oh, we're not going to support Brock Lesnar's UFC fight in any way because we don't see UFC as competition. Yeah, you're not supporting Brock Lesnar's fight in UFC, but Vince McMahon is overly ecstatic now that he won. So who the fuck is supporting Brock Lesnar? WWE is. Crock of shit. They're gonna act all tough and all political in these fucking interviews. Meanwhile, when things go their way, they want to jump all over it because now they see dollar signs. If Lesnar lost, oh yeah, I told you so. Oh, I told you so. Oh, Lesnar, there's not competition for UFC. There's not competition for WWE. The fucking way the world works, man. Unbelievable. Big Cass versus Brock Lesnar. Dave Meltzer reported it. Take it with a bucket of salt. Give me a fucking break. If they do that, I know WWE or someone in WWE obviously needs to be fucking fired, and they need to have their hand chopped off, because if they write something for Big Cass versus Brock Lesnar in the near future, I think we're all in fucking trouble. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, moving on with the fucking news here. Big E, I told you, Big E could turn heel instead of Xavier Woods. We talked about that. Hasn't been announced yet, but the expectation is the New Day will defend the Tag Team Championship against the Wyatt Family, a battleground since their feud began. There's been a lot of focus on change in the behavior of Xavier Woods, and many are expecting him to betray the New Day, turn heel, and cost them the WWE Tag Team Championship. God, how that would be fucking awful. According to RingTalk.com, Xavier Woods may turn out to be a red herring, and it may be Big E who turns heel against his brothers, which will cause the end of the New Day. It was reported a few days ago that Vince McMahon was high on Big E. I think Vince McMahon is high on more than just Big E, with these fucking news articles coming out lately. And if the stable is dismantled, we should expect a major singles push for the former Intercontinental Champion. WWE could break up the New Day via the WWE Draft, but such a great stable shouldn't be broken up in the midst of a draft. Instead, there should be some kind of betrayal and feud to catapult someone onto the next level. If WWE officials think Big E is the breakout star of the New Day, then he should have a big moment to send him on his way to becoming a major player after the brand split is official. Do not break up the New Day. This is fucking ridiculous, okay? I don't want to see any of these teams broken up right now. I don't even know why the Wyatts are feuding with the New Day. My original thought process was the New Day versus Enzo and Cass at WWE SummerSlam. And I got my fucking cat looking at me. What are you doing? What do you want? I'm doing something over here. The fuck is wrong with you? Motherfucker. Just looking at me. Where the fuck was I? Anyway, I don't even know why the Wyatt family would be in title talk. I mean, listen, if the Wyatt family wins the tag team championships, they're only going to drop them to Enzo and Cass anyway. So why have them beat the New Day and then have them have less than a month reign with the titles. It makes no sense to me. This entire angle makes no sense to me. New Day wins. New Day comes out on top. New Day is the top of the division. Enzo and Cass against the New Day at SummerSlam. I think the fans would eat that up. I think that's the way to go. I don't know what is going on, and everything is just a huge fucking question mark. You don't know what to believe nowadays. Bray Wyatt challenges The Rock to a match at WrestleMania 33. Look at this one. At WrestleMania 32, Bray Wyatt confronted The Rock. Their confrontation eventually led to an impromptu match between The Rock and Eric Rowan, which the former won in less than 10 seconds. Before the Wyatt family could squash him with the numbers game, John Cena came down to make the save, and Cena and The Rock stood tall for a great WrestleMania moment. Yeah, sure. Great WrestleMania moment. Just like how my blowjob from Megan Fox was the best ever, right? Yeah, it never fucking happened. I don't know what you're talking about. In fact, it was an embarrassing moment for the Wyatt family. Right? There's no doubt that the Eater of Worlds has unfinished business with the People's Champion, so that could eventually lead to a match with Rock and Wyatt. Earlier this week, the Wyatt family appeared on ESPN's SportsCenter segment. During the interview, Bray Wyatt said the following about The Rock and issued him a challenge for WrestleMania 33 in Orlando. The Rock is the biggest star in the world, period. It was a moment for me as well, especially because I was walking out and seeing 100,000 fireflies, and that's something of beauty. Being out there with The Rock, it was cool, I guess. I would have to say, but I would also have to admit that we have unfinished business. And if he's listening or watching Rock, I would love to finish it at WrestleMania 33. That would be a great match. I would love to see that happen. I would love to see that feud, and I would love to see The Rock put over Bray Wyatt because more than anybody on the roster, he needs a big win, especially at WrestleMania. If it could be The Rock, that would be unbelievable for the rebirth of Bray Wyatt. Vince McMahon returning to Monday Night Raw to address the WWE draft and brand split. Tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, Vince McMahon will be there. It was only a matter of time before he returned to the WWE to address the upcoming draft and brand extension. It has now been announced by WWE that this Monday in Detroit, Vince McMahon will be there. He's trying to get Brock Lesnar as well, as we stated in the opening story. And the WWE draft is far too important to not have Vince McMahon come back to television to explain the way things are going to be after the brand split is made official. The last time we saw him, he gave Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon equal rights to the WWE Kingdom, which has progressed well, but we know that someone is going to need to run Raw and SmackDown, so Vince is returning to hit the issue dead on. The following was posted by WWE in the preview for Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. Mr. McMahon gave his children, Shane and Stephanie, shared custody over Monday Night Raw, but ironically, it's SmackDown's live show that has caused friction between the two siblings, with both McMahons declaring their intentions to run SmackDown come Tuesday, July 19th, and brand extension fast approaching. The chairman is slated to return to Raw in the very same building where Shane himself made a comeback earlier this year. Could Mr. McMahon be on the verge of an executive decision, or does he have to be a different COO, or does he have a different COO in mind for SmackDown Live? I don't know what's going on with that, but we'll see what happens. I have absolutely no faith in WWE to put on a good Monday Night Raw. And finally, guys, to end this week's Part 3, there will be a Part 4, Goons, on Monday. So make sure you guys tune in at the normal time at 11 a.m. Mark Henry leaving WWE by the end of the summer. Before WrestleMania 32, there was a lot of speculation about Mark Henry's status with the WWE and if it would be his last WrestleMania. Although there still isn't an update on Mark Henry's possible retirement from wrestling, there's now speculation about Henry finishing his career outside of WWE. Apparently, Henry has accepted an independent booking at Harley Race's WLW event for Night of Champions #2. The appearance has led a lot to the speculation that former WWE World Heavyweight Champion will be leaving WWE sooner rather than later, but there isn't anything to the rumor. According to Ryan Satin of ProWrestlingSheet.com, he is reporting that the World's Strongest Man is not planning to leave the company by the end of the summer. Someone from WLW told the source that he wouldn't be wrestling. He'll just be there as part of a meet and greet, as well as sign autographs. Obviously, WWE has approved this appearance, otherwise it would not be happening. Mark Henry hasn't been featured on WWE programming for quite some time, so it's not out there for him to stay busy outside of WWE. There is no doubt that Mark Henry's career is winding down, but he's sure to get a lot of attention and a proper send-off based on his accomplishments when the time is here for him to leave the WWE. So Mark Henry not leaving by the end of the summer. I don't know when his contract is up. I think it really is up by the end of the year. You know, Vince McMahon, there were reports that Mark Henry signed a deal in which Vince McMahon forced him to sign, and he stated several times that this will be his last deal, his last run with WWE. But he's not really being used. I mean, we've seen him on Monday Night Raw in that 16-man elimination tag team match that was fucking god-awful on the July 4th edition of Monday Night Raw. But, you know, Mark Henry obviously will always have a life after WWE. He could be used as a trainer. He could be used as something of an agent, or, you know, somewhere along those lines after he leaves WWE. I'm sure he's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of insight to wrestling itself, and you know, maybe help some of the younger guys and teach them the ways. You know, he was there from the beginning, man. He was blue, or he was green as the fucking like I said, the fucking grass outside that you see in your neighbor's yard, man. This guy was fucking green as fuck coming at the WWE, and he matured into his own. He developed his own character. You know, Henry could have a lot of knowledge based on what he has gone through in WWE, and he can turn that around onto some of the younger guys coming up from NXT. So, you know, Mark Henry, obviously we know this is his last run, but a lot of people are expecting him to leave soon. Ryan Satin put that to rest from Pro Wrestling Sheet. He is not leaving the WWE anytime soon, but his career is definitely winding down. More than likely by the end of the year, Mark Henry will be away from WWE, as this is his last contract with the company. And that is Off the Script, guys. Thank you so much for listening today. Sorry about the late upload, but listen, you guys got a nice upload to spend your Sunday evening with. I'll be back at work tomorrow, but I'm going to work immediately after I take a little bit of a break on part 4. For Monday, we got news on Apollo Crews. We got news on why WWE is pushing back the rematch between John Cena and AJ Styles. WWE interested in signing Kurt Hawkins and Jimmy Wang Yang. Chris Jericho's current run with WWE may not end until 2017. And then WWE planning New Day versus the Wyatt Family match at Compound to top TNA's final deletion. There is news on that, so we'll talk about that in part 4. Thank you guys so much. Hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below of the Lesnar story and everything else that we discussed in this video. And the goon that fucking cock blocks at the party. WWE is the fucking cock block after TNA has done something really, really nice and garnered some attention for themselves. WWE's always got to weasel themselves into someone else's situation. So that's that, guys. If you enjoyed it, like I said, hit that thumbs up, and I'll be back for part 4. Enjoy your Sunday nights. I'm JD. This is Off the Script. I'll talk to you guys later. Remember, podcast is live on iTunes as well, man. As soon as you finish this, go over there and download that motherfucker and leave me a 5-star rating on iTunes and Podbean, man. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on part 4.